Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
How many kids need to be traumatized? How many kids need to die?
Local parents are pushing for change within Fargo Public Schools on how it educates and treats children with special needs. They spoke out at tonight's school board meeting saying their children suffered trauma and abuse in Fargo schools. But not everyone in that packed room supports those students. Valley News Team's education reporter Veronica Marshall brings us both sides of this complicated issue.
She headed to the room in a panic and found two special education teachers physically holding the door closed. She opened the door and found my son curled up in a fetal position, wailing like a wounded animal.
Story after story at the Fargo School Board meeting, like this one, where a mother describes the pictures her son drew to help process what happened at school.
The pictures show my son being carried and dragged down 2 staircases across the school to the crash room.
Or this one, where a mother found out her child had been left in a seclusion room for 6 hours.
I walk into the school and she was inside the seclusion room, hiding underneath a chair with her pants off because they didn't let her use the restroom and she had urinated on her pants.
Parents and community members recounted and expressed the heartbreak and betrayal they say students with special needs and their families witnessed at the hands of the Fargo school system. In the end, 27 pages of testimony, with parents petitioning the board to change Fargo Public Schools' use of seclusion and restraints on students.
We're teaching them that it's okay if adults hurt them and violate their bodies, but it is not okay for them to defend their bodies. We are teaching them that they cannot trust their staff at school.
But that wasn't the only change being called for. Other parents advocated for creating a special education-only facility at Agassiz, asking the board to think of the students and staff who regularly witness the emotional and physical outbursts of challenging students.
We are losing administration, teachers, and staff directly because of behaviors.
Why should a classroom of students need to leave for one student who has consistently displayed this behavior? The school is forced to focus on this one student at the expense of the rest.
One thing both sides agree on, change is needed, and it's needed now. This topic wasn't even on the agenda, but parents wanted board members to consider their stories when they discussed this topic in the future. In Fargo, Veronica Marshall, Valley News Live.
School board members will take up the issue at a retreat on July 25th. A Minnesota woman was killed after her ATV overturned near Bemidji. Authorities arrived this morning and found the female who had been operating the ATV dead at the scene. She was identified as 42-year-old Rosalie Miles of Shevlin, Minnesota. The investigation revealed that the ATV had entered the ditch and then hit a barbed wire fence. Miles was not wearing a helmet. McKenzie County authorities say a 1-week-old baby boy has died from injuries sustained during that EF2 tornado early this morning in Watford City. As far as structures, the number is up to 122 destroyed, and another 79 structures had moderate damage from the twister, and 120 had minor to no damage. No other details were released about the baby's death. At least 3 people remain critically injured. More than 24 others were injured in that storm. The Weather Service pegs the twister as an EF2, which is defined by wind speeds up to 135 miles per hour. In this case, wind speeds reached 127 miles per hour. We have had a nice evening with no worries, but that will change overnight for some of us. Hutch, what's the latest?
Well, we do have some thunderstorm activity, severe, working its way mainly at Williston and points north into northwest North Dakota, moving east along the international border at this hour. There is a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for the northwestern quadrant of North Dakota for this activity working its way east. There is a slight risk of severe weather where you see the yellows. The greens in our area, the deep greens, Bismarck to Grand Forks and Baudette, there is a chance that some of these could, toward morning, still be on the strong side. Our model shows that they don't even arrive in our area until likely after 3 a.m., and most of the activity that will have any strength left to it should be along or north of the international border. Temperatures tonight very mild, in the 70s for many of us as we start out our Wednesday morning. I'll have hour-by-hour details on what you can expect as Our area has a better chance of severe weather tomorrow evening. Details on that in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Hutch. A local woman is still waiting on the contractor she hired 3 months ago, and Julie Lendy says she's getting sick of it. Lendy tells us she contacted a business called Your Home Improvement Company in April, and she says they came out to her home with an estimate that wasn't cheap, but still she wanted the job done. They wrote a new contract saying the work would be completed in 6 to 10 weeks, but that time has come and gone, and the work still isn't done. They did drop off the shingles, among other things, at the end of May, and Julie says they have been calling almost every day saying they're coming, but they don't show up.
They won't come unless I'm here, and I sat around for a month every day waiting for them to come, and I had things to do.
We talked with the corporate office for Your Home Improvements. They tell us an installer was scheduled to come out in June, but for one reason or another, they didn't show up, and they say they're working to get someone out there now. President Trump has made his Supreme Court pick. Now Judge Brett Kavanaugh is starting what could be a bumpy road toward confirmation. He will need the support of 51 senators, and today he started working to lock in that support on Capitol Hill. Our Washington bureau has reaction from North Dakota Congressman Kevin Cramer and Minnesota Senator Tina Smith on the president's selection.
And I think what you have in Judge Kavanaugh is somebody who's got a commitment to the rule of law, regardless of how he may feel about something philosophically or personally. And I think that's what you want in a judge.
And I had really hoped that the president would pick a consensus candidate, somebody who could get support across the board. And I'm very sorry to say that I don't think Judge Kavanaugh fits that mold.
So now he's officially on the clock. The White House wants Kavanaugh confirmed by the time court reconvenes in October, which means Senate Republicans have less than 3 months. Over 400 million people have diabetes worldwide. An assistant professor at NDSU worked with others to come up with a new treatment to improve the lives of those living with this disease. Valley News Team's Katie Opperly stepped into the lab to learn more.
It will drastically improve their lives if an insulin pill could be developed.
Amrita Banerjee, an assistant professor of pharmaceutical sciences at NDSU, began working with a team last year to do just that. This has been quite a challenge as the body naturally has barriers preventing the pill to work.
An insulin, only when it is intact and not broken down and reaches the blood circulation without getting cleaved, only then will it work.
But the team uses ionic fluid and other Food and Drug Administration approved ingredients to safely and effectively overcome these obstacles.
We have engineered this insulin pill in such a way that it addresses all the barriers or overcomes all the barriers of oral absorption of insulin.
The pill is now going through rigorous testing and has made significant progress after being tested on rats. If brought to the public, this pill could replace insulin injections.
Instead of poking oneself on a daily basis or 2 times a day, if you can just swallow a pill, that will make the lives much better.
She says the pill could increase the possibility of people with diabetes sticking to their insulin routine.
I just hope that this product is successful in further testings and it reaches the diabetic patients in a couple of years.
In Fargo, Katie Opperly, Valley News Live.
Testing of this insulin pill is continuing at Harvard by Banerjee's colleagues. She says if testing continues to progress, this pill could be on the market in 10 to 15 years. As the world cheers the safe rescue of a soccer team trapped in a Thailand cave, we're learning what the boys and divers endured on their way out. And women with breast cancer are finding they have another option to help get rid of the pain from their treatments.